Okay, so how to forgive oneself? Yeah, I think the, the first thing we have to perhaps consider is that why can't we forgive ourselves? Yeah, uh, it shouldn't be something good that we have done that we cannot forgive ourselves. Forgiveness is always about something that is wrong, you know? Um, so why can't we forgive ourselves? There are many reasons why we cannot forgive ourselves. And perhaps the most obvious one is because in some cases, the things that has been done cannot be undone. You know, that's number one. Number two is the things that were done uh, is not trivial. Yeah, if it's trivial, even if it cannot be undone, so be it. Uh, and number three would be the the person impacted or the persons impacted um, is important to us. Yeah, it is a very this is a very realistic thing. If it's not someone important to you, even if it's uh, 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 something that is grievous, we may not feel as strongly as if it's something that is towards someone who is important to us. And just now I mentioned person or persons, right? So to some extent, if the wrong done impacts a lot of people, then it can also increase. So you all know me, I like mathematics. So if we can denote each of these with variables, so so uh, the undoability, okay, is one variable, and then the severeness is another one. How much the person mean to us is another value, and then the number of people is another value. So without going to the specific, no matter how you calculate, the thing is, imagine if you want to just bump into someone. Well, that's a wrong, yeah. But if you didn't cause a person physical damage or physical harm, that is just, boom. Maybe you bump into the cut, and you are in NTUC, push it, boom. Yeah. So the person also not hurt, the cut also not hurt. Will you forgive yourself? In such a case, you may even think like, why is that to forgive? you know, yeah. Which is why when the person kick up a big fuss, you're like, what's your problem, right? Uh, so in other cases, then we may not find it so easy to forgive ourselves. Yeah. So when it's trivial, we can forgive ourselves. And in fact, if it's so trivial, we may not even see a need to forgive because there's nothing to forgive. If it's trivial or if it's uh, re- reversible, you knock something down, you can put it back up. But if you knock something down and it break, oh, then jialat. But if you go to a restaurant and the glass break, okay, lor, I pay you, lor. So in a way, it's reversible in a different way. Yeah. Or maybe the restaurant may say, no, it's okay. It's part of operating costs. But if you break something and then it's your father's favorite glass, yeah. Or maybe it's your friend's father's favorite glass, lucky worse. So then we come into the part about whether it's someone dear to us. So in many cases, it's hardest to forgive ourselves when it's a combination of these three. Yeah, because if it's any of these three, it's already harder to forgive. If it's a combination of these three, something that you have done that cannot be reversed, yeah, and it's not trivial, and it's done to someone that is dear to us, important to us. So then how to forgive? Remember there were other classes where I talked about forgiveness. In fact, during the 2020-21, I talked about forgiving others and seeking forgiveness. When we forgive others, it's never because the person is correct. Yeah. It's precisely because that person did something wrong. But many times when we want to forgive someone, it feels as though we are dismissing that matter. It feels as though we are saying that that matter is okay. You know, because that's how we say, right? When people say, hey, sorry, then we say, no, it's okay. So it's as though we forgive only when it's okay. When it's not okay, we cannot forgive. Another way to approach forgiveness is to recognize that, yes, it's not okay. Yeah. So when people ask you forgiveness, to say, maybe it's not okay to say it's okay, you know. You should say, yeah, it's really not okay, but I forgive you. To me, there's something magical about saying that, you know, because it's like a plot twist, you know. It's like a movie, you know. You start saying, yeah, it's really not okay, you know. And then person, oh, jialat. They say, but I forgive you. And to me, the impact is even greater. But perhaps we're not so used to this. That's why we are not used to forgiving ourselves when it's something that we have done that is grievous, that is irreversible, and is towards someone who matters to us. Yeah. Because we haven't learned to forgive others when it's like that. Yeah. We need to learn to forgive others even when it's something grievous, even when it's something that is irreversible, and even when we matter to that person and that person matter to us. We need to learn to forgive others first before we are able to forgive ourselves. Yeah, because then it means that you can accept that sometimes we do stupid things, you know. If you cannot accept that people will do stupid things, hard to accept that you will do stupid things. You know, while oftentimes we may say, yeah, lah, that person, you know, other people do cannot, he himself do can, you know. Yeah, but when it's, I mean, in those cases, then we don't have to talk about him, right? Yeah, right? May not be him or her. Such people, then this question doesn't apply, isn't it? Yeah, because if there are people who are like that, then, you know, no scruples. Yeah, go and kill people at night. I can sleep. Then, so this question, the answer to this question is irrelevant to such people. Yeah, so this discussion is about those who find it difficult. Yeah, and in which case I feel, I think it's important to recognize that forgiveness is precisely because there was some wrong. But to recognize that whatever wrong that has been done has been done. No matter how you blame the person, no matter how you blame yourself, it's done. Even when you break the glass and then you pay for it, it's already broken. You know, you get in a car accident, nobody was killed. You repair the car, but it has happened. Yeah, it has happened. So to recognize that whatever has happened and cannot be undone, I think that's a very important part of forgiveness, whether towards others or ourselves. Now the question is then, what next? The what next part is perhaps even more important, which is that if it's so important and if it's so grievous, then we need to put in an even stronger determination and will to not do it again. Yeah, to not do it again. And to me, each time we encounter similar circumstances and we are able to overcome our habitual tendency to do it, yeah, forgiveness is there. Or rather, our peace of mind comes from that, because you know that you have really changed. That when you want to forgive yourself or others, that has really happened. That you really don't do it again. Now, in the Buddhist tradition, there are repentance ceremony, and I've covered in many classes. But this is a topic that I think deserve revisiting many times. Yeah, because we are all in samsara. We are like, you know what is samsara like? Like prison, you know? Yeah. So we are all fellow inmates. 谁都不用笑谁. Yeah. Except that some can already see their sentence coming to an end. So those are called sotapanna. And then there are those who is already due for release. Yeah, due for release. Yeah, just waiting to collect the items and then going off. Arahant, already final day, going off already. The rest of us still, yeah, haven't finished the first sentence, go and punch the gut. Haven't finished the sentence, go and poke the fellow inmate. Then kena detention again. So this is not to suggest that the approach is, yeah lah, then since we are unenlightened, then it's okay lah. No, remember, it's not okay. Yeah, don't tell yourself it's okay lah, but more that to recognize being unenlightened, there are reasons why we do stupid things. Yeah, haven't washed my face. Don't think I'm so touched by myself, then cry because haven't washed my face, so got the psycho. Chinese are very interesting, the way they describe that thing is eye shit, eye shit cream. But psycho eye shit cream, huh? And you think hey, it's really like that. It's eye shit, but it looks like cream, no? Yeah, it's not eye cream, it's not eye shit, it's eye shit cream. Yeah. So in the repentance ceremony, a lot of people think that it's just a magical process where you just go through the ritual. But most people look at repentance ceremony as a ritual. It's not a ritual, actually. There is what appears to be the ritualistic part, but the repentance ceremony it actually comprised a series of development of mental qualities. Yeah. If you look at all the different sets of repentance puja or ceremony, be it Liang Huang Bao Chan, Da Bei Chan, Jing Gang Bao Chan, whatever, Sui Chan, whatever Chan, it always start off with there's always this part about paying respect to the enlightened ones. Yeah. And that part, why is that part? Wow, quite, you have a birdie in your place.
No, toy lah. Venerable, you cannot visit me and not because I don't like visitor lah. Because my place very untidy. I don't have visitor lah. Because I haven't packed my things because I just moved in only ma.
I tell you, no need to pack.
I'm sick some more.
That's why it's sick.
I cannot do packing, no.
Okay, quick. I must mute you. I must finish my sharing first. So, the reason why there's this part about paying homage is to recognize that they are enlightened, we are not enlightened. And then there's always this part about listing out the series of all the different stupid things that we are capable of doing. And so that part is about really recognizing that, yeah, we stupid, we still do stupid things. But in many of the puja, then it also talk about the reasons why we do stupid things. Yeah, and it's because of defilements. Because we are not enlightened. If we just simply say we're not enlightened, then it's almost like a done deal, you know. Yeah, it's like a resignation, we are not enlightened, so it becomes a black box excuse. But in the Buddhist teaching, we go into why do we do stupid things? Because of defilements. Yeah, because of ignorance, because of defilements, and because we of this over time, there's habitual tendencies. So in the San Mei Sui Chan, it talk about how all the different kinds of suffering that is in samsara can be classified into 3 types. Yeah, and the first is 烦恼, yeah, or 祸. The second is 业, and the third is 艺术. Yeah. So the first is the defilements. Yeah. So we usually think about defilements as causing suffering. But defilements is suffering because it's uncontrolled. Yeah. And it causes the agitation in us. So then the second is the action itself that is defiled, that is unwholesome. Yeah. That itself is a form of suffering also. And ultimately it leads to the rebirth. Yeah. That is also suffering. So these 3 are also known as obstacles. Yeah, 名为三障. You know, every time we recite 愿消三障, that 三障, the 3 obstacles. So these 3 obstacles, it says it can prevent, it can obstruct one from learning wholesome Dhamma up to what? Up to attainment of enlightenment. Yeah, because of these 3, then it can cause us to be like that. Yeah, and then it says, 欲灭三障者，应当何等心？先当起7种. Yeah, so you talk about cultivation, development of seven kinds of mental qualities. Yeah, starting with 大慈、大悲, and so on and so forth. Yeah, 冤亲平等. Yeah, but the last stage, the part I want to focus on is the last stage, which is 观罪性空. 观罪性空. So it basically means to contemplate on the emptiness of the wrong that we have done. Yeah. What does that mean? So when we say contemplate on the emptiness of wrongdoing, it doesn't mean that the wrongdoing don't exist. It means that to see clearly how wrongdoing is dependent arising, and it's not inherent in us. Until you see that, you will have the sinner mentality. Yeah, you will feel always feel that you are unworthy, you are miserable. But it's not meant to free us from guilt and then to just do it again, because that's the other part, which is that it's not inherent in us, but it can still arise. When will it arise? It exists when there are conditions. There are external conditions, there are internal conditions. Internal conditions being our defilements, being the ignorance, yeah, being us succumbing to it. So the aim of this contemplation then is for us to see that we are not inherently evil. We are not inherently bad. But due to circumstances and conditions, that was done. And precisely because of that, then we need to work on the circumstances and conditions that we can influence, that we can change, so that this doesn't happen again. No point saying, wait, before I continue further, I was going to say, no point saying that I'm sorry for it, and then later repeat. Let me take that back. I haven't said it also. I should say there's a point really. Even if you think, but Sifu, I've been repenting, but I still do stupid things. So what to do? The roots haven't been removed. Right? So forgiveness is also forgiving the fact that we are not enlightened, that we will keep on repeating the mistake. But not to give up on trying. Because what other choice do we have? We have no other choice. We can only try and try and try until we succeed. So in that sense, forgiveness is about trying. And towards ourselves is about trying. Towards others is to let people try. But if you think about it, that's the case, isn't it? When you don't want to forgive people, it's because you don't think the person can try and you don't want to let the person try anymore. You feel that, nope, you're hopeless. So Buddhism is actually a very hopeful, uplifting teaching. It doesn't condemn us to a fixed state, but it doesn't guarantee you the Buddha state also. It merely says, these are the conditions, these are the results. Choose. Choose wisely. Amitabha. 愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿消三障诸烦恼，
愿得智慧真明了，
愿得智慧，
普愿罪障悉消除，
愿罪障悉消除，
世世常行菩萨道。
世世常行菩萨道。
阿弥陀佛。